by the Reverend Dr. Marlin Lavanhar, our senior minister, our affiliate minister, the Reverend Gerald Davis, and online, our assistant minister, the fabulous Reverend Randy Lewis. We are so excited to be with you this morning. We need this. A special welcome to our online viewers, everywhere members who are with us from around the world. And if you're on Facebook or Zoom, please drop your prayer requests, joys, or sorrows in the chat so that we may light candles and hold space for you here this morning. If you are a first-time guest or new to All Souls, we welcome you. And in fact, our ushers have a gift for you. So if you're a new first-time visitor here at All Souls, if you hold up your hand and keep it raised, we have some gifts that our ushers, I think. There they are. The ushers are coming down the aisle, so you have to sustain holding up your hand, and they'll get a gift to you. All right. Here we go. We have someone down here on the center aisle, someone up here, a few folks. Thank you so much. And also, if you're new or newish to All Souls, we invite you to the Sonnen Library after the service, outside the sanctuary doors, across the foyer, and join us in the library for light refreshments and a chance to meet with some of the members of our Welcoming All Souls team. We would love to get to know you, answer any questions that you may have. And if you're on Zoom, please stay after the service for conversation. And again, our assistant minister, Randy Lewis, will be there for you. All right, the gifts, here they come. And so now I invite you to stand in body or spirit for Reverend Davis to come forward for our invocation and our covenant.
Well, good morning, church. Good morning. This is indeed a day that God has made. Let us then rejoice in it and be glad. And let us count our many blessings. We are grateful for the capacity to see, hear, feel, and understand. We are grateful for the incredible gift of life. And we are especially grateful for the ties of love that bind us together, giving dignity, meaning, worth, and joy to all our days. Please join me in our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Welcome to All Souls, where we love beyond belief.
Greet somebody around you as our chalice lighter comes forward. He's a Unitarian minister. He served our church in Decatur, Illinois for 10 years before retiring here in our community. He helps us with a lot of he sometimes visits to the hospital and pastoral care and things like that. John is a wonderful person, a great person to know. And we were his sponsoring congregation years ago before I came. When Brent Smith was our minister, the church sponsored him to become a Unitarian minister. John Beidler.
The words this morning are from Albert Schweitzer, the Nobel Prize winner in 1952. And I chose these words because coming here last Wednesday, I felt a little like my light had gone out a bit, or at least it got dimmed. So here are the words that Albert Schweitzer wrote. At times our light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us.
Beautiful.
Thank you, all souls, for rekindling the flame in me.
Beautiful.
Good morning. I have a story for you today that I have heavily adapted, but it was originally written by my counterpart in Oklahoma City, Mr. Tim Atkins. Desmond was not having a good day. Have you ever had one of those? Where it feels like the whole world is out to get you? After each and every horrible, terrible thing that went wrong, Desmond felt his heart deflate. See, first, when he got up, he reached for his glasses and he dropped them on the floor and he reached down to pick them up. But when he stepped down, snap, they broke right in the middle where they rested on his nose. His mom tried to super glue them together, but that didn't work. So they used tape. It was so embarrassing. He was just so angry that he couldn't just go get another pair, but Mom said there wasn't time and they'd have to wait till the end of the week when she got paid, and he was so angry. He felt like his heart just got a little bit smaller. And he was excited to have Cinnamon Toast Crunch for breakfast, his favorite, but his dad said it had gotten moldy. So it was bagel and cream cheese morning, but bagels were tough and chewy and his tooth was loose and it would take him forever to eat and avoid that tooth. And so he just decided to have a swallow of juice and his heart got a little bit smaller. And Desmond had planned to go to the park to meet his friend Lila, but his mom told him there was a bad storm coming and it was cold outside, so he couldn't go. The best part of the day was playing in the park, and he couldn't even do that. He was so mad. All day long, bad things kept happening, and by the end of the day, his heart felt totally deflated and empty. And he just hoped that tomorrow would be better, but he wasn't counting on it. He got into bed that night feeling miserable. It had been the worst day ever, and he was relieved that it was at least over. But that night, something unusual happened. Desmond had a dream, and when he woke up, he could just remember a voice telling him that he was going to have a chance to redo his day. But he had to remember to be thankful. And he remembered groggily thinking, what did he have to be thankful for? Because his day started off the same. Although he tried not to, he still broke his glasses. But he remembered the voice in his dream, and he decided to try not to get so angry. And then when his mom came to fix them with the super glue again, this time he said, "Thanks, Mom. We can tape them. They'll be okay until we can get a new pair." And he noticed how his mom gave him a relieved smile in return. And when he said thanks, his heart seemed to lift up just a little. And when the bread was moldy for his cinnamon toast, Desmond said, "That's okay, what if I have a chewy granola bar instead?" And he thought how lucky he was to have choices for breakfast. And when he wasn't allowed to go to the park and had to stay inside, he thought, I am lucky to have a warm place to stay when it's cold outside. He knew not everyone had such a warm place to be on a cold and windy day. And with that thought of gratitude, his heart did fill just a little bit more. And all day long, the same bad things happened, but this time, he found a way to say thanks. And this time, by the end of the day, his heart felt full. And that's because every time you say thank you to someone or feel gratitude, your heart fills just a little bit, and it can make others feel better, and it can make you feel better too. Saying thanks is like breathing life into your heart. So if you would indulge me, let's try saying thank you together on the count of 3. Let's say thank you together. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Oh, that felt good. Now, if you could, think of something really bad that happened to you this week. Might be hard. But think of something. Now, I want you to think of something that you could be thankful for during that time. You got it? On the count of 3, say thank you for that. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. I invite our children and youth to come to Sunday school to practice this art of gratitude.
One of my favorite traditions that came out of the pandemic was the lighting of candles for those in our community that we're thinking of holding up. It connects us with people all over the country and all over the world who also join us in this. We have a number of candles to light today. I want to light one for a young man who grew up in the church, worked for the church, sang in the children and youth choirs growing up, who unfortunately, after a battle with cancer, has passed. Josh Knutson, some of you know him. We're thinking about his family, Maureen and Tom Knutson, his parents and his other siblings. Also, condolences to Mother Imogene White on the loss of her cousin, Anita Alexander, and a candle for member Mike Redman, the loss of his mother, Judy, and a candle for Lucy Conley, the founding director of our children's choir. I'm sad to say that her husband, Mark Conley, passed this last week after a car accident. And a candle for member Dave Stout, whose memorial service we will hold next Friday at 4 p.m. at Hope Unitarian Church here in town. I want to light a candle for all the veterans in our community and in our country. We are so thankful for their service. This our freedom and our ability to even have this service is thanks to your service and those veterans. I want to light a candle for our country after a very difficult election season, and as we enter a new era of our country in the coming weeks and months. And a final candle for one of the last two living survivors of the 1921 race massacre, Mother Leslie Bennington Randall, who turns 110 years old today. Yes. And I think it's particularly touching and meaningful that last week she was able to vote for the first black mayor of Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you have any names of anyone you'd like us to light candles for, please call them out and I'll light the candles. At this time in our service, we invite anyone who is within the first year of the loss of a loved one, or if this Sunday is the closest to the anniversary of the death of someone you love, we invite you to stand in memory and mourning until the spoken prayer begins.
You may be seated. Before I speak words of this prayer, I like to quote from an American philosopher, Teddy Pendergrass. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking. Time to think straight ahead. Because the world won't get no better if we just let it be. The world won't get no better. We got to change the world. You and me. Hear now this prayer. Gracious God, Spirit of life and love, we are gathered in this place because we are in sanctuary. We are safe. We are full of authenticity. We allow ourselves to be ourselves. We are thankful then that we have a place that says all are welcome. We are thankful that we are able to participate in anything that is good for all of us. We are thankful then that we are not separated because of skin color, because of ideology, because of height, because of weight, because of anything that would separate us. That is not who we are. We are thankful, and because we are thankful, we are vigilant. And because we are vigilant, we are courageous. And because we are courageous, we will confront those who would say no to our ambition to be one in ourselves. We believe that we cannot function well unless all of us are functioning well. We believe this because we were told that we are one. We were told that the spirit that is inside of us unites us. We are part of everyone. We are not separate. So when we believe this and do this, we make things better. Keep us vigilant. Keep us reliable. Keep us courageous. Keep the hope that believes in ourselves to make it better. We can make it better. Help us as we move to a better place. Amen. Blessed be. Ashe, may it be so.
The world won't get no better. We can change the world, you and me. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out. I hear you. Come on. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out. If you feel comfortable, if you can grab the person's hand next to you, if you feel comfortable doing that. If you don't, it's fine. As you feel their pulse, and you feel the warmth of their body and their hand, know that we are connected in love. Love is the most powerful force. And we make a decision now to let love be the force by which we operate. Would you tell that person next to you, you are loved? Tell them. You are loved. Once more, when I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. If you take a moment and grab your hymn number 18. What wondrous love is this? Please rise in body and spirit as you're able, as Mike leads us in this one.
I was sinking down this week, sinking down. I thought we were about to elect the first woman president of the United States of America. My first thoughts upon waking up on Wednesday morning was I felt like I was living in a country where a majority preferred meanness and prejudice and chauvinism to kindness and inclusion and equality. I was naive because I didn't think a majority of American voters would buy what our president-elect was selling. I was disappointed. I was angry. I was confused. And I was scared. Scared of the possibility, for the first time in my life, of living in an authoritarian state. Now, just saying it seems reactionary. And yet, is it over the top to be wondering, will we begin to have detention camps and mass deportation, as our next president has told us? Will there be retribution to political opponents of the president, which he has promised? Is Project 2025 the blueprint for the future of America? Will being transgender become illegal? Is the Affordable Care Act going away? Is the Department of Education going away? What does this election mean for the climate, I wondered? Am I the only one who's been feeling this way? All right, good. All right, I just wanted to check. Now, you'll be glad to know that I turned to look for inspiration to one of my favorite Unitarian ministers of the 20th century, A. Powell Davies, who lived before and after World War II and served All Souls Unitarian Church in Washington, D.C. He understood that American patriotism is not an allegiance to a group of people. It is an allegiance to an idea and a set of principles. I'm not sure these principles unify our country anymore. See what you think. He said, the American commitment is to universal justice, the rights of all people, not the special interests of some. It's a commitment to tolerance, to neighborliness. It's a commitment to the common good. It's compassionate, humanitarian. It's the golden rule. It battles prejudice and false opinion. It seeks the truth. It has no use for intolerance. It prefers honesty and goodwill over narrow-mindedness. This nation, he reminds us, was founded on an affirmation of our inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, I woke up Wednesday realizing that the pursuit of these ideals, however lofty and aspirational, no longer seem to unite the majority of us. Joe Biden tried to reassure us this week by saying that everything is going to be all right. Really? I don't know, Joe. This kind of reassurance reminds me of some of the religious perspectives that I've been hearing from some, that God is in charge, so we have nothing to worry about. Now, I'm not a minister who professes that there is a God up in the sky who's going to fix things for us. If so, what has he, she, they been waiting for? As much as I've tried, I don't find a bit of solace or hope in such an idea of God. So you probably want to know, what does keep my spirit up at a time like this? What good news do I have? So I'm reminded that I'm going to bring it on. I'm reminded that the human struggle for justice and equality does not end with one election. At a moment like this, we need to consider the long arc of human history. And we must remain faithful to the many people who have gone before us in the struggle for equality and freedom. There have been enormous efforts and sacrifices to end slavery and attain women's suffrage and defeat Jim Crow and to win marriage equality, to break up monopolies, to end child labor, and even to have a nation built on democracy and the rule of law rather than the right of kings. We are the beneficiary of all these efforts and sacrifices. And to stop now or to feel defeated would be to break faith with those who have paved the way for our freedom. One thing's for sure, justice and freedom are not automatic. Another thing that's for sure is that it does not just happen on election day. The march for equality and freedom is painstaking and it's heartbreaking, but it's not futile and it's definitely not over. I don't think it ever ends. I don't think we ever finally arrive at equality and justice. There was no time in the past when it was perfect, and there will likely be no time in the future, since democracy is a human enterprise, and humans are not fallen, but we are fallible. The struggle for freedom and justice will forever be a part of the human story. Part of being alive and engaged in life is working to create the world that we want to live in and that we want to pass on to the future. If nothing else, this year's election is an invitation to be part of that great tradition of people all over the world and all across time who have sought to use their lives to bring more freedom and more equality and more justice into the world. That is a life of great meaning and purpose in which we're able to thrust the roots of our life down into. And as A. Paul Davies said, the lives that have been most deeply rooted in that struggle have grown tallest against the sky. When the winds and the rain and the storms come, it's the trees that are most deeply rooted in the soil that survive. And when the winds and the rains and the storms of our democracy come, it is the lives of those most deeply rooted in the soil of freedom and equality and justice for all that will and must survive. Because even those whose lives are taken from them in this quest, people like Martin Luther King Jr. and Harvey Milk and Fannie Lou Hamer and Medgar Evers and Viola Luazo and Marsha P. Johnson and countless other men and women and non-binary people who dedicated their lives to making the world better for others and for future generations, they still survive in our public conscience, and they keep inspiring us. Their lives were rooted in freedom and are still bearing fruit. And you and I are invited today to sink our roots deeper into the soil, into the struggle for human dignity and human rights. Now, this is a time when we need to keep faith with all of these people and our ideals. Curtailing the rights of others or seeking retribution upon political opponents is a form of forsaking the very principles upon which this nation was founded. So what can we do if it happens? Well, this past Thursday night, right here in this sanctuary, All Souls hosted the Jewish Federation of Tulsa for a Kristallnacht remembrance service. Now, Kristallnacht is most commonly translated as the Night of Broken Glass. It was one night on November 9th through 10th, 1938. That is 86 years ago last night, when the Nazis broke windows and burnt down over 1,400 Jewish synagogues and institutions all over Germany. The professor who gave the keynote speech on Thursday, Dr. Jennifer Hoyer, explained that the purpose of these attacks was to gauge the German population's willingness to go along with state-sponsored violence. The Nazis wanted to see how the people would respond. And in the face of state-sponsored burning and breaking of buildings, the German people, by and large, sat by and watched. The crowds came out, and many were undoubtedly horrified and in disbelief, but they didn't do anything. And this set the stage for the horrors of the Holocaust that followed, that led to the murders of millions of Jews and thousands of Africans and disabled people and gay people and other religious and ethnic minorities. Now, I hope Joe Biden and my friends and our church members who voted for our president-elect are right, that all is going to be just fine in our country under the next president. But I also want us to be ready, because he can't do it without us. The citizens have to capitulate for tyranny to be successful. So if, for example, state-sponsored militias begin to burn down Spanish language and other churches and institutions that cater to immigrants, or the businesses or homes of immigrants, we need to react and respond and not let it be okay. We've seen how the violence of January 6th, 2021 has been scrubbed of outrage and shame, and has come to be portrayed by some, including our next president, as a gathering of love and patriotism. And our next president has made it plain that he believes the bad people in the January 6th story are the FBI and the judges and the Justice Department, not the perpetrators. Now, I'm not saying that we're heading for totalitarianism, but that is a textbook example of how totalitarianism starts. Violence and destruction get normalized, and the people become accustomed to it. And the systems of accountability are undermined and diminished. It almost happened here. During the Cold War, the United States saw the rise of fear-driven policies like McCarthyism. McCarthyism, led by Senator Joseph McCarthy in the early 1950s, was a time of intense anti-communist hysteria. At the time, individuals were often accused of being communist sympathizers or spies without concrete evidence. These accusations were typically made during public hearings, particularly by the House Un-American Activities Committee and the Senate Internal Security Subcommittee, like the Hollywood 10, when in 1947, 10 screenwriters, directors, and producers were blacklisted for refusing to testify before the House Un-American Activities Committee, citing their First Amendment rights. They were charged with contempt of Congress and sentenced to prison terms because they would not capitulate. Tyranny cannot take hold unless the people let it. And in 1954, the Army McCarthy hearings were a televised public spectacle in this country where Senator McCarthy accused members of the United States Army of harboring communists. The hearings were intended to intimidate people, some of whom were military personnel, leading to the public vilification and blacklisting of many people. It was all done in the name of national security. They violated basic civil rights, and they normalized the targeting of perceived enemies of the state. Friends, it's come close to happening here before. We've had demagogues in high places in our government before. Now, a demagogue is a political leader who gains support by appealing to the fears and prejudices of ordinary people rather than by using rational argument. They're eating our pets. They're stealing our jobs. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. They're the enemy of the people. The reason folks are so concerned is that even if people like his policies, our new president-elect is a demagogue. According to the experts on tyranny, like Timothy Snyder, two things that make tyranny possible are anxiety and loneliness. So we need to remain calm and rational and build community and join in solidarity. Because it begins with the immigrants or with the Jews or the trans folks. We're made to fear that they're harming our children or poisoning the blood of our nation. But friends, if we let any one of us be attacked, we are all going to lose. We need each other. And we can do this. After the September 11th attacks, mosques in New York and across the country received threats and were vandalized. And knowing this, neighbors from different faith backgrounds, including Christians and Jews and non-religious people, formed circles of protection around certain mosques, showing up to keep watch and keep them safe, and to express solidarity with our Muslim neighbors. Keep in mind, whenever there have been movements of discrimination and violation in this country, there have always been helpers who courageously stood up for what is right. We cannot do it alone. And that's why we need to support institutions like All Souls and others that have an unequivocal commitment to freedom and justice for all. Institutions that are committed to speaking the truth at whatever cost and committed to building solidarity among different people. I read a quote this week that said, "If you don't understand why your trans friends are so worried right now, then you don't have any trans friends." If you're a part of the All Souls community, then you are more likely than most to have some transgender people in your life. If you are transgender, then you're part of a community, and I want you to know that you are not alone and you are loved. There will always likely be a certain percentage of society that will fear strangers, that will desire for men to dominate over women, and who believe in superstition over science. But we at All Souls stand strongly against such ideas. We have a vision of a world where everyone can be who they are without fear or favor, where everyone knows that they're blessed and they are a blessing. There has never been a more important time for us to invest in this kind of love and community. My good news for you today is that part of the very meaning of our life comes from aligning ourselves with all those great and ordinary people like Harriet Tubman and Rosa Parks and Ruby Bridges and Helen Keller and Sojourner Truth and Mother Leslie Bennington Randall and the unnamed at Seneca Falls and Stonewall and Selma in Normandy. And on this Veterans Day weekend, let us never forget all those in our military who have sacrificed to serve our country and preserve our freedom. Friends, let us sink our roots deep in this soil. Remember to nurture your body and your spirit in the weeks and the months ahead. We need you healthy and strong of will. When you can't go on, we will carry you. And when we can't go on, we know that you will carry us. We need each other now as much as ever. I know we'll get through this next 4 years, whatever it brings, not because I know that everything will be all right, but because we have each other to help us, to think clearly, to feel deeply, and to act boldly. We are a community committed to freedom. And all those who came before us are cheering us on. And all those who will come after are counting on us. And we will keep faith with them. Because as Wayne Arneson said, the way is often hard, and the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. I love you. Amen.
Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Come on, let's sing together. Gonna keep on moving forward. Thank you, Rick. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Keep on moving proudly. Gonna keep on moving proudly. Keep on moving proudly. Keep on moving proudly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Keep on singing loudly. Come on. I'm gonna keep on singing loudly. Let's hear it. Keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly, never turning back, never turn. Keep on loving boldly. We're gonna keep on loving boldly. Let me hear it. Keep on loving. That's it. Keep on loving boldly. Never turning back, never turning back. All right, take a moment. You know how we do. Take a moment and show some love to somebody. A handshake, a hug, a smile. Come on. Let the love flow. gonna keep on moving forward. Come on. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Never turning back. Never turning back. Never turning back.
All souls. And as Marlin said, it is a great and let me say important time to invest in all souls.
That's right.
We are bringing home this part of our pledge drive, although it happens year round. But if you haven't sent in your pledge yet, we need your help. We need you to send in your pledge over the next 2 weeks by the Thanksgiving service. It's incredibly important to support this community. That's right. My husband and I sent ours in a couple of weeks ago with a 20% increase. I know not everyone can do that. Every bit counts, but if you can and you can bring it up, we need this more than ever. We need it today, we need it tomorrow, and we need it in this coming year. Thank you to all those who have already brought in their pledges. So next 2 weeks by Thanksgiving, don't forget. Now, one of the traditions, this is part of why we do a pledge drive, because one of the traditions is to give our plate away to an organization in the community doing good works in the world. And this one, I spoke up. I said, I'd like to do this one this week. This week's offering is going to the Tulsa Period Pantry Foundation. Yeah? We could be a little more excited. The Tulsa Period Pantry serves over 60 schools across Tulsa County and continues to connect with even more schools, businesses, organizations to continue to raise awareness, support, and resources to expand and serve the girls of our community. And I think those who identify as well. 1 in 4 girls miss school due to not having period products. This is a real problem. It's super expensive, family budgets, and so girls are missing school because of this. It's way too many. Tulsa Period Pantry is doing something about it. So that's what our offering today is going to be, and I'm going to share a few announcements in a moment. But as always, to help our finance team, if you're putting in a check, please, if it's for the offering, mark offering, and if it is a pledge, then mark it pledge so that the finance team can have that sorted out. Are you ready to be a member? Yeah, some of you are going to join again. So if you're ready to be a member, join me upstairs in room 203 after this service at 11:15 to talk about membership. And for folks who are new or newish, All Souls, you're invited to the Sonnen Library across the foyer to have some light refreshments, a chance to talk with Welcoming Souls team. We look forward to meeting you, and our devoted volunteers are eager to answer questions about All Souls and our programs. Now, get ready. Are you ready? Yeah? Okay, you're ready for all kinds of things. Our insert is full of activities, our website even more. Check out our Wednesday night connections. Check out the upcoming Fall Art Market, Saturday, November 16th and Sunday, November 17th, 10 to 2 p.m. at Emerson Hall. The Art Market is not only a wonderful place to get great gifts for the holidays, it supports a great cause. 10% supports our youth programs. Now, this maybe is one of the most awesome announcements, the bylaws revision town hall. I know we were all waiting for this, but it's serious business because it's about keeping this community healthy. So our bylaws revisions town hall is Tuesday, November 19th at 7 p.m. That session provides an opportunity for All Souls members to review proposed bylaw revisions and share your thoughts. Please bring questions that you have, and let's work together to make All Souls stronger for future generations. Members are also welcome to join us online. One last announcement. On Sunday, November 24th, join us for a special celebration of gratitude and giving for our annual All Souls Thanksgiving Festival. Now remember, that is a one-service Sunday. One service at 10:30 p.m. You're always invited for that service to a.m.
It's a late night service, late night.
10:30 a.m. Thank you for the crowd. I just want to be here all the time. At 10:30 a.m., one service, Thanksgiving, bring a fresh fruit or vegetable to add to our chancel table, and those donations will then go to the Community Resource Bank to support families in need. You can also read about how to help the Community Resource Bank in your flyer. Our music for this offering is from hymn number 318. We sang it last week. If you want to reflect on the powerful words of unity, I invite you to do so. And this week's offering is going to the Tulsa Period Pantry. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mike. Mike McCrary on the organ this morning. Thank you, Mike, so much. Hey, before we extinguish our chalice, I want to introduce a very talented person in our community and brilliant, Linda Jacobs, who is, yes, take this. She's responsible for those prayer flags, if you're in the building, that you saw coming in. And I want her to just tell us a little bit about, just 1 minute, about what they are, where they come from.
So they come from this summer when I was really in despair over what was happening in our country. And I do eco-printing, so I put some plants on these flags and I hung them in my backyard, and I thought, this I can do. This is a response to the despair. So I sent out an email, and a group of women over 8 different days, over 3 months, we made all these prayer flags. And each one, everyone put their hands on them, and they're filled with blessings, and everyone wrote in a blessing book. And this is a result of them. So people kept one, everyone made 2 flags, people kept one and donated one to the project. We'll be doing more, like in the spring. I'd like to keep this going, so if you're interested, do sign up for that. and know that they're really to send out blessings and prayers and goodwill into the community. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're going to need all the artists and all the musicians, everybody to bring it all forward to help us move this forward together. As we go out into this day, into this new era, go out in peace. Have courage, hold on to what is good, and return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, help the suffering, honor all life. Go and be blessed and be a blessing. Amen.